So this is the Infiniti 2009 fx35. This is also for the fx37 or Qx70. This video is about the radiator replacement in order to keep your AC intact without disconnecting your AC, so you don't have to end up doing two jobs. So looking here, this is the radiator I got. This is the CSF. I thought that would be the better choice for me. I am on a budget, so I did get the ones with the plastic sides. The original radiator here comes with the plastic sides as well. This is the area where my radiator basically started to snap apart from the aluminum. We could go in to show a few things that has to come out the way to get this job done. So in order to do this job, you would have to get these air boxes out your way. It is a problem getting to some of the lines. Your cooling line for your motor and tranny, it'll be hard to get to if you don't remove these air boxes. The next thing you have to remove is the air intake piece. You got to remove the shroud underneath the car, and this is another piece that wasn't mentioned in other videos. Not calling anybody out, that's not my job. So this bracket here that slides underneath this piece, this bracket here has to come out. Reason being, in order to get the radiator out, this is extended too far. In order to get the radiator out, you would have to lean that radiator back far enough, but at that point you're banging into this metal piece. So you got two 10mm bolts, one on this end and one on the opposite end there. The rest is the clips, the plastic clips that hold that metal piece in with the bumper there. It does have a cable on it, so I didn't fully take it out. I just leaned it out the way. Leaned it in a upward position like this and able to get the radiator out. You also have this bracket here. It's a 10mm bolts as well. You got one on the left, one on the right, and then you also have one underneath. They all can be accessed from the top. That's your 10mm bolts. These are the brackets. These are the clips and the bolts for that metal piece at the top part of your bumper. So the next thing you want to do is they have some clips here at the top of your radiator. All you have to do is twist to the left. These pop right out. So just put that right there. If possible, try and mark your bolts or pay good attention to those bolts. Okay, so going into a little detail here on the AC condenser. Let me get 1 second to push this back out my way. So in order to keep that AC condenser from disconnecting your AC lines, next there is some clips that goes on the side of this bracket. This is also the part that has the 10mm bolts. That's these cables that's connected to your AC condenser. You would have to move them around. You can actually slide it through that groove to get more play. As you can see, the AC condenser, if you notice, it's extremely far back away from those fans, and between the fans and this AC condenser would be your radiator. So the whole point of this now is to show you the two hard lines that are together. In order to move this AC condenser up and down, you would have to free up some of these clamps and brackets. So if you notice at the end of those two lines where it starts to curve left, there's a plastic around it, and that plastic goes around both hard AC lines. There is a screw at the top portion. Let me see if I can get my hand in there for you. So okay, here we are. So this is the plastic here that goes around the two hard lines. Pretty hard to see. There's a bolt, 10mm again, that goes in the top portion there. I'll show you from the inside. So if you notice, that area right about here is where that 10mm bolt comes in. The plastic that goes around the two hard lines, you have to push that inward, push that out your way, so that can free up flexibility up and down, be able to move that thing. That alone is not going to do the job. You also have to remove this portion here. This is a bracket on the hard line. I moved that, the bolt is right there. I put it there so I don't lose the bolt. There's another hard line here on your right side, as you can see. That hard line goes right underneath this metal here, and there's a plastic clip underneath. You can get to that by going underneath and moving that shroud. This is the shroud right here. Some people don't even recognize, it's right there in your face. So you go underneath and move that shroud. I'll show you that right now. 1 second. So we're underneath the car now. Could move that shroud out the way, and if you notice that plastic, I actually snapped the bottom part of the plastic, and the top part is still good, so it'll still go back into place. So that's the other hard line on the AC there. So that's 3 areas that that hard line has to be removed in order to lean the AC condenser back far enough for that radiator to come out. One other problem I ran into was this this coolant line here. As you see, is twisted up. Yes, I tried to loosen it because it was getting caught up because of that top bracket. The top bracket was actually stopping the radiator from leaning far enough back in order for me to pull it up. So that piece was getting caught between here and the radiator. The other part that has to be removed is this section here where the hose goes on, and that will be located at the facing the vehicle, top left. That comes out with 4 bolts. That's another thing you have to remove to get this piece out. So the hose goes on this end, and those 4 bolts goes into your radiator. That's the 4 bolts there. Another problem that I had was taking out the AC condenser. They have these grooves here, which the AC condenser has to slide over, top and bottom, on both sides. My problem was removing this clip. So there's a clip here that you have to push out the way and try to lift that AC condenser up and over that groove. That's the whole purpose of removing those hard lines, the brackets, without disconnecting and losing AC. On this one, it seems a little more flexible. On the old one, it was pretty hard. I actually snapped them off. Let's spin this around and see what's going on here. So at the top, if you notice, I use a screwdriver and a hammer, and I snapped those things off. Not a problem for me. Out with the old, in with the new. So those are basically the steps. Don't forget to drain your radiator if anything is left in there. One other thing that you might not get to use again is this rubber. There's a rubber here that goes on the bottom of this drain plug. So you stick a flathead or Phillips in here to drain your radiator. Pull that up for you. So that's the screw there. You open that up at the bottom of your radiator and you drain it. And the rubber doesn't fit onto the new one. Different size. It won't go over there. Different size. So might have to get another rubber to go over the top of that, or I might just leave it the way it is. That basically covers the radiator change on the fx35, fx37, Qx70.